Good evening, students. Welcome back to 10th Standard Social online class. Students, we are going to see a new lesson in civics, unit number 4, India's foreign policy. In this lesson, we are going to identify the basic principles of India foreign policy, the meaning and importance of non-alignment, and various stages of our Indian foreign policy and its importance. Not only that, we are going to recognize the difference between the domestic policy and foreign policy. Let me start the lesson. First, we will see the introduction. What is meant foreign policy? A country relations with the other nation is called the foreign policy. Foreign policy can be defined as a country's policy that is conceived, designed, and formulated to safeguard and promote her national interest in her external affairs in the context of relationship with other countries, both bilaterally and multilaterally. Bilaterally means between two countries, multilaterally means between more than two countries. So foreign policy is nothing but a country's relation with other nation. The country is making policies towards other nation. It may be between countries, that is bilaterally, or it between more than two countries, that is multilaterally. It seeks to secure the best interest of the people, territory, and economy of the country. It is a direct reflection of a country's traditional value and overall national policies, her aspiration and self-perceptions. Nations have been interdependent. All the nations have been interdependent. We have to depend all the countries for our needs. Interdependence has been an incontrovertible fact of international relation. The main tools of our foreign policy are treaties, that is friendship agreement, an executive agreement, appointing ambassadors, and foreign help, international trade link, and armed forces. So these are the main tools of the foreign policy of our nation. The main tools are treaties, executive agreement, appointing ambassadors and foreign help, international business or trade, and armed forces. The Ministry of External Affairs of India, underline this word, the Ministry of External Affairs of India, also known as Foreign Ministry. It comes under the Government of India, is responsible for conduct of foreign relations of India. So India is having relations with the other nations like China, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, whatever. Our relations are watchword or monitored by a ministry called Foreign Ministry. That is Ministry of External Affairs. The Foreign Service Training Institute that is located in New Delhi, it was established in the year 1986 and it gives training for the officers of Indian Foreign Services, IFS service. You know this one? The Foreign Service Training Institute, it is located in which place? Yes, New Delhi. It was established in the year 1986. It gives training for officers of Indian Foreign Services. The Constitution of India 1950, Article 51. It lays down directive principles of India's foreign policy. The state shall endeavor to, first, it promote international peace and security. This is our main aim in our foreign policy. And it maintain just an honorable relation between the nation. India maintain honorable relations with the other nation. And it gives respect for international law and international organizations like UNO. And it encourages settlement of international dispute by arbitration. That means what are the problems between the nation, all the problems will be settled only by means of peaceful way. So these are the points that is laid out in the directive principles of our India's foreign policy. Now we will see the main objectives of our foreign policy. First, national security. It gives national protection to the country. Next one, national prosperity, national growth, and it increasing the number of friendly relations. because the friendship relations only could end the war. Already we have seen the two world wars. So to avoid further war, all the nations they started friendly relations with other nation. Then achieving world peace is a very important one. Achieving world peace and enable every nation to peacefully coexist. Then and last one, economic development. So these are the main objectives of our foreign policy: nation security, nation prosperity, increasing the number of friendship, and achieving world peace, and enable every nation to peacefully coexist, and economic development. Let me see one by one. Panchasheel. This word is taken from the Sanskrit word Panch means five, Seal means virtues. So Panchasheel means five principles. The five principles of peaceful coexistence, that is Panchasheel between India. It was introduced by the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and China Premier Zhou Enlai. That was signed on 28 April 1954, which stated that the two governments entered into an agreement based on the following principles. So this Panchasheel first that was signed between India and China. At that time, India Prime Minister was Nehru and China, the President was Zhou Enlai. They signed in the year 1954. What are the policies or principles in Panchasheel? First one, mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. All the nations should respect the other nation territorial integrity and sovereignty. Mutual non-aggression. We should not invade other countries. Non-aggression means should not invade other countries. Mutual non-interference. No country should interfere in internal affairs of others. No country should interfere in the internal affairs of other nation. Then equality and cooperation for mutual benefit. All the nations should be treated equally. And there must be a cooperation between the nation. And peaceful coexistence. What are the problem arises between the nations? All the problems should be solved by peaceful way. This is we call peaceful coexistence. These are the five principles of Panchasheel. Again I am telling. The first one, mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Second one, mutual non-aggression. Third one, mutual non-interference. Fourth one, equality and cooperation for mutual benefit. And last one, peaceful coexistence. The principles were incorporated in Bandung Declaration. You underline the place. This Panchasheel that was incorporated in Bandung Declaration. It was signed in the Afro-Asian Conference held in 1955 in Indonesia. Now we see the basic determinant of foreign policy: geographical position and size of a territory. Our geographical position and the size of a territory is determine our foreign policy. Nation's history, traditions and philosophical basis, natural resources, the compulsion of economic development, political stability and structure of the government, the necessity of peace, disarmament, a non-proliferation of nuclear weapon, military strength and international milieu. So these are the determinant factors of a foreign policy. Foreign policy in 1950 and 1960. The period from independence through 1950 and 1960 constituted the most idealistic phase of India's foreign policy under the guidance of our Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. The new nation that got independence after the long period of colonial struggle found themselves in a very difficult situation with respect to economic development, because during the period of British government, our economic completely ruined by the British government. Now we are in a position to strengthen our economic base. So this is the first objectives of our Jawaharlal Nehru. It was necessary to align with either of the blocs, United States of America or Union Soviet Socialist Republic, that is Russia. At that time, after the Second World War, the world was divided into two blocs, that is One is based on USA and another one is based on USSR. But India did not join either of the bloc. Nehru, India's first Prime Minister, was opposed the rivalry between the two superpowers. India, Nehru, did not like to join either of this bloc, who were trying to extend their influence over the newly emerged nation of Asia and Africa. Each nation, USA and USSR, Russia, both were they were incompetent to establish their influence over the other nation, but India did not join either of the bloc. So he chose the path of non-alignment. You underline the one. India chose the path of non-alignment. That means it did not join either of the bloc, either with the USA or with Russia. That means not aligning with any bloc. In the face of the bipolar order of the Cold War, and try to form a third bloc of nations in international affairs. There was a Cold War between USA and USSR. And there are some countries that were out of from this Cold War. They were called as third bloc nations. Broadly, non-alignment means not tying yourself off with the military bloc. It means trying to view things as far as possible, not from the military point of view, though that has to come in sometimes, but independently, trying to maintain friendly relations with all countries. That was said by Nehru. That means non-alignment means we are not joining with either nation. That is not in the meaning. We are friendly relations with two nations, both USA and USSR. So India follow the friendly relationship both the nations, both the blocs. The non-alignment movement norm that was formed in the year 1961. The term non-alignment was coined by V. Krishna Menon. Note this one, it will come for one word. The non-alignment word was coined by V. Krishna Menon in his speeches United Nations in 1953. Non-alignment has been regarded as the most important features of India foreign policy. It aimed to maintain national independence in foreign affairs by not joining any military alliances. So it aimed to maintain national independence in foreign affairs by not joining with USA and USSR. The non-alignment movement was formed with the membership of 120 countries. Underline this one. First, it was consists of 120 countries and 17 state as observers and 10 international organizations. This is the composition of the norm. It has transformed from a political movement to an economical movement. Initially, it was formed for political base. Did not join with USA or USSR like that. But laterally, it was changed as an economical movement. The founding fathers of non-alignment, Jawaharlal Nehru of India, Tito of Yugoslavia, Nasser of Egypt, Sukarno of Indonesia, and Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana were the founding fathers of NAM. You put important mark, it will come for 2 marks. Who were the founding fathers of non-alignment? Very, very important, 2 marks. The founding fathers were 5 members. From India, Jawaharlal Nehru. From Yugoslavia, Tito. Egypt, Nasser. Indonesia, Sukarno. And Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. They were the founding fathers of non-alignment movement. Students, very important 2 marks. You mark this question. India foreign policy during Cold War. The Cold War between whom? Yes, USA and USSR. The non-alignment route did not prevent India from entering into an alignment with the Soviet Union by Indo-Soviet Treaty of 1971. That means India signed a friendly relations with Soviet USSR by signing a treaty. That treaty name was Indo-Soviet Treaty that was signed in the year 1971. It was 20 years pact of peace, friendship and cooperation. These 3 principles were followed between India and Russia. There was a peace between the two nations, and there was a friendship relationship between the two nations, and there was mutual cooperation between India and USSR. Then India embarked on a substantial program of military modernization. In 1974, India also conducted its first nuclear test at Pokhran. Note this one, important GK question and important one-word question. 1974, India undertook a first nuclear test at Pokhran under subterranean nuclear explosion project in response to China's nuclear test in 1964 at Lapnor. Note this one. Followed India, China also undertook one nuclear test in the year 1964 at the place called Lopnar. Changing global conditions determined the foreign policy detail. India got her political freedom in the aftermath of a disastrous Second World War, and India had to be redeemed from acute poverty, illiteracy, and chaotic socio-economic conditions. So when we got independence, yes, 1947. After the Second World War, India got independence from the British. So India first step, they have to concentrate to remove the poverty and illiteracy, and there was a complete chaotic conditions in the socio and economic condition. So this is our first steps to improve this field. Hence our new nation could not afford to military enlargement and military alliances. So India that was not interest in conclude the military agreement with any nation. Avoiding of military bloc was then not an option but a necessity. Non-alliance did not mean neutrality, but the freedom of nation to decide an issue independently. You underline this one. Non-alignment did not mean neutrality. It means the freedom of nation to decide their own issue independently. Non-alliance did not mean demilitarization of nation. It means to ensure de-escalation of conflict and tension. That means it reduced the tension between the nation. Even whether discarding the non-alliance, India could enormously strengthen her defense system and could become a nuclear power. So after we got independence, after settling our local problem, India also undertook the nuclear power extension. Flaws or fault in details of foreign policy execution have been addressed time and again, but India's basic policy of non-alliance is still in force. Students, up to this, we will conclude this lesson. The remaining questions will be seen in the next class. Today, I will give some home assignment. You complete the home assignment without fail. Thank you.